I am Meera Ranjan. Thank you so much, everyone, for registering for our workshop on how to travel responsibly. You have taken a step towards making your travel experiences better by coming here today. Throughout today's workshop, please drop any questions you have in the chat box at any point, and we'll be answering them at the end of the workshop.
Also, we have a fun quiz planned for you as well. So don't miss out on that. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation prepared by me and my co-presenter Meera Ranjan. So let's take a look at the topics we'll be discussing today.
So, our workshop is on sustainable tourism, how to travel responsibly. So the first thing that we have today is about us, Prince and I, your presenters for today. Then we're going to talk about how COVID-19 has transformed tourism and what opportunities are presented in a post-COVID world for tourism. After that, we're going to discuss about a concept called sustainability and the plan to achieve this concept, which is called as the SDGs. Then we are going to define the topic of today's workshop, which is sustainable tourism. After that, we'll be talking about what the UN has been doing to shift the focus onto ecotourism. What efforts has the UN taken? After that, we are going to talk about all aspects of ecotourism. What all things do we need to consider in order to make ecotourism a reality? The next, what we're going to talk about is what you can do to help, how you can further ecotourism as a tourist or from home. After which, like Prince said, we have a very nice quiz for you all. Then we have tips for you on how to become an ecotourist. Then we have our final thoughts on this topic, maybe some discussion. And then we have, we're going to talk about an interesting initiative called the 100K Deeds Challenge. So do stay tuned for that. So let's start about me. I am Meera Ranjan. I am a 16-year-old living in Chennai, India. I am an ardent supporter of the SDGs. We'll talk about what the SDGs are a bit later. So when I first heard about the SDGs, I felt like this was one thing that could probably change the world. And that feeling is still strong today. I'm heading Immune Impact's 100K Deeds Challenge in India, which is an initiative that I think you'll all love to take part in. So we'll be talking about this more at the end of today's workshop. So stay tuned for that. Other interesting things about me are that I love cats. I have many pet cats at home. I love to read. I can play the keyboard. I love playing badminton too. And I'm always looking for and researching about scientific ways to ensure sustainability because I love science and I think science is a great way to further sustainability. So I think that's a pretty good summary about who I am. Now over to Prince.
Thank you so much, Meera. So a bit about myself. I'm a 15-year-old sophomore living in Bahrain, which is a really, really beautiful island. And I'm a passionate advocate for SDG 4, which is quality education, SDG 13, which is climate change, and SDG 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. I'm currently serving as a diplomat of the MENA region at Immune Impact, and I'm serving as a lead, and I'm giving my contribution towards various regions and whatever logistical parts at the 100K Leads Challenge. And I'm also an avid foodie, and my hobbies include, playing the piano. I am into a lot of painting nowadays, and I love playing badminton and crafting. So I also love to always brainstorming solutions to incorporate sustainability in our daily lives.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah. So the outbreak of COVID-19 has impacted countries at different times, in different ways and in varying degrees. Yet around the world, responses to curb the pandemic has translated into national lockdowns and wide implementation of travel restrictions and shutdown of borders, making tourism one of the hardest hit sectors. The extensive and deep impact of COVID-19 on tourism, coupled with the relevance of the sector to the economy and jobs, requires strong support at national and international level through the relevant institutions. The United Nations World Tourism Organization's Travel Restrictions Report provides a comprehensive overview of the regulations in which are put in effect in 217 destinations worldwide. The latest report shows that persistent seriousness of the epidemiological situation has caused governments to adopt a more cautious approach. As of the beginning of February 2021, 32% of all destinations worldwide, which is 69 in total, are completely closed for international tourism. Out of these, just over a half, 38 destinations, have been closed for at least 40 weeks. At the same time, 34% of worldwide destinations are now partially closed to international tourists. So, friends, what can we learn from this? We can learn that the crisis is an opportunity to rethink how tourism interacts with our societies, other economic sectors, and our natural resources and ecosystems, to measure and manage it better, to ensure a fair distribution of its benefits, and to advance the transition towards a carbon neutral and resilient tourism economy.
Fact: the environment is an exhaustible resource. Now, we all know this fact, but how does this fact relate to us? Our present choices have huge long term impacts on the Earth's resources. We have a duty to ensure that we will make ethical choices that will provide a safe and comfortable future to everyone. Caution: if we deplete the resources of the Earth, future generations will be impacted. Well, what's the cure? To understand sustainability and ensure that it happens now. But what is sustainability? Sustainability means that we shall ensure to preserve the Earth's natural resources for our future generations. It will thus pave the way for environmental protection that will indirectly also promote economic development and social development. People need to be educated about sustainability. Our well being and that of our society depends largely on sustainability. We must have access to the basic resources and ensure that our health is protected. Now, action plans to achieve this concept called sustainability are called as the SDGs, which stands for the Sustainable Development Goals. These goals were set up by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. The SDGs are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. So, I'm pretty sure you all have a good idea about what sustainability is and what the SDGs are now.
Now, let us look at the definition of our main topic called sustainable tourism. So, according to United Nations World Tourism Organization in 2004, sustainable tourism development requires the informed participation of all relevant stakeholders as well as strong political leadership to ensure wide participation and consensus building. Achieving sustainable tourism is a continuous process and it requires constant monitoring of impacts, introducing the necessary preventive and or corrective measures whenever necessary. So in short words, we can say that sustainable tourism is, basically it is related to nature, if I'm not wrong. But what we can say that sustainable tourism is basically, it all it also maintains a high level of tourist satisfaction, and it also ensures a very meaningful experience to tourists by raising awareness about sustainability issues and by promoting sustainable tourism practices amongst them. Now, so the United Nations has taken a lot of efforts to foster ecotourism. One of the most important effort is the International Year of Ecotourism, which was declared in 2002. So, in July 1998, the United Nations Economic and Social Council, which is the ECOSOC, proposed to members of the United Nations General Assembly to designate 2002 as the International Year of Ecotourism. The members of the ECOSOC considered the designation of the International Year of Ecotourism as an encouragement for intensified cooperative efforts by governments and international and regional organizations, as well as non-governmental organizations, to achieve the aims of Agenda 21 in promoting development and the protection of the environment. Recognizing the growing importance of ecotourism, the United Nations General Assembly met in December 1998, accepted the proposal and declared 2002 as the International Year of Ecotourism. The Commission on Sustainable Development and other venues were advised to implement the year. Within the UN system, the CSD's Interagency Committee on Sustainable Development, which is the IACSD, mandated the World Tourism Organization and UNEP to prepare and coordinate supportive activities for and during the year.
Right. Now we have come to the section where we discuss about the different aspects of ecotourism. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced the tourism sector to shift its focus to resiliency, sustainability, and interconnectedness among diverse stakeholders in the sector. Stakeholders include the tourists, locals, workers, the government, organization, everybody. Here, the recommendations from the United Nations World Tourism Organization outlines 6 lines of action, which are the aspects of ecotourism. They are listed on your screen and we're going to look at each of these in detail right now. But before going ahead, I'd like to read this quote that I've put up on the screen. Sustainability must no longer be a niche part of tourism, but it must be the new norm for every part of our sector. I don't think anybody except the UNWTO Secretary General can say it better about the importance of integrating sustainability into tourism. So let's go ahead and look at the different aspects. The first one is health. Now, the pandemic has shown a strong connection between among tourism, public health, and the environment. There are different steps to how we can integrate health into tourism. The first one is to integrate health indicators into tourism. This basically means strengthening monitoring mechanisms to curb the spread of diseases like COVID-19. This integrating health indicators has the potential to lead the way for tourism to recover as an economic activity. Also, better health measures and better health of people will mean that the tourist travel restrictions will be eased considerably. If it is well planned and managed, tourism can make a responsible contribution to the health and well-being of everybody involved in this sector. The next one is to connect hygiene with sustainability. Tailored guidance and occupational safety and health protocols for tourism workers is very important. At the same time, it is essential that these protocols, safety protocols, they include sustainability principles as well. For example, an increased focus on health will lead to more demand of masks, right? You can see the example on the screen in the green box. It says that the focus on health and hygiene has led to an increased demand for disposable plastic items. Now, because of these, a lot of waste is generated and pollution as a result. Now, health needs to consider sustainability as well, proper waste disposal, and maybe better materials than plastic. The next one is to restore trust through communication. To address the public health concerns of tourists, employees, and host communities, destinations must ensure transparent and proactive communication. What I mean is that destinations must be clear about their travel regulations for tourists so that nobody violates any rule and health is preserved. The UNEP, UNWTO have developed specific COVID-19 recommendations to raise awareness to consider the environmental health impact of health and hygiene measures. And one of these highlights the use of single-use plastics. And they say that single-use plastic is not exactly a sanitization measure, and they require the same amount of sanitization as reusable items. So there is a need to switch towards reusable items in health. The next one is social inclusion or including all. The potential of green jobs in tourism is yet to be fully realized, and recovery from COVID 19 presents an opportunity to create more sustainable and green jobs for people involved in the tourism sector. The first step is to support and involve vulnerable groups like youth, disadvantaged communities, women, indigenous, and other vulnerable groups. They face excessive long working hours, low wages, lack of social protection, and gender discrimination, especially in the informal part of the economy. If decent work principles and occupational safety measures are applied in these areas, they can lead to the development of the industry. The next one is to support micro, small, and medium sized enterprises. I'll be referring to these as MSMEs. They are basically local indigenous businesses. Now, due to the reduction in the number of tourists, they often become bankrupt and out of business. Large organizations can come in support of these small businesses to help them thrive and offer better discounts and offers for tourists. Repurposing tourism as a supporter for the community. In times of crisis like COVID 19, tourism creates an opportunity to create stronger ties with local communities. Furthermore, stronger local value chains brings economic benefits and social benefits to local communities and reduces their dependence on foreign supplies. So it's a win-win situation. One example that I like to cite here is that of the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, abbreviated as ITAC. This organization developed a COVID 19 development stimulus grant, and this grant helps many small Indigenous tourism businesses so that they retain their business. One of their examples is of the Homalco Wildlife and Cultural Tours. And because they received this grant, they were able to post online about their business. They were able to keep their trade going on. So big organizations can play a role to help MSMEs. Let us move on to the next one. So what can you do to support these two aspects that we discussed right now? Health and including all. You can adhere to health norms and regulations wherever you travel. Don't litter any sites with masks or plastic items. This is your part towards health. Organize a donation drive for quarantine supplies to distribute among those in need. Probably in your neighborhood, you could organize a drive. Next, whenever you travel, make sure you buy handmade local products, and this way you support local businesses. Many ecotourism projects operate as non-profit organizations. You can show your support for the great work that they're doing by sending some cash their way. You can also have a quick search online about the ecotourism initiatives that are taking place in your area. It might be something simple like planting trees or conservation project, maybe in a neighborhood park or something, but there are multiple volunteering opportunities that you can take part in. And if you don't find such opportunities, create them. You can organize a plantation drive or something like that. Now, let us move on to the next two aspects. Biodiversity conservation. COVID 19 has raised awareness of the importance of a healthy environment as a natural barrier for future pandemics, especially in the case of zoonotic viruses. So the first step towards conserving biodiversity is to capture the value of conservation through tourism. Now, because of the reduction in tourism, there has not been much check, especially in tourist areas. And as a result of this, there has been a risk of poaching, encroachment, and overexploitation growing in wildlife destinations as tourism is on hold. This threatens the very asset upon which tourism needs to be rebuilt, right? So the role of tourism to fight illegal wildlife trade as well as preserve the biodiversity of an area should be acknowledged in tourism recovery plans. Support needs to be made available for conservation efforts by all the tourism stakeholders. The other idea is that we have to start investing in nature-based solutions. These have the potential to drive innovation in tourism towards sustainability. It reduces the environmental impacts of tourism activity and results in better management of scarce natural resources. One example that I've put here is that of Inca Terra. Inca Terra is an organization based in Peru, and this ecotourism organization for over 40 years they have pioneered and promoted sustainable tourism in Peru. This is the Machu Picchu Pueblo Hotel, which promotes ecotourism in an Andean village. They create authentic experiences for their guests with a focus around excellence in ecotourism. They make sure that none of their activities disturb the wildlife or the ecosystem of their area. This is a great example of how ecotourism can be aesthetically pleasing but also environmentally safe. The next one that we're going to talk about is circular economy. Now, I will just like to explain this term. Circular economy is a model of production and consumption which involves processes like reusing, refurbishing, recycling, and recycling existing materials and products for as long as possible. In this way, the life cycle of products is extended. In simple words, if I have to say, it is basically your 3 hours cycle. Whatever resources you put in, we make sure that those resources stay in the economy for a long time by reusing the waste and making sure that not too much waste is produced. So the ways in which circular economy can be promoted are investing in transforming tourist value chains, which basically means investing in reducing, reusing, and recycling processes. These can reduce the economic gaps that come in tourism, as well as reducing waste and pollution. The next one is to prioritize sustainable food approaches for circularity. Now, food is an entry point in the tourism economy. By sourcing food from local and organic markets, printing out sustainable menus, and reducing food waste can lead to sustainability. Then the last one is that there needs to be a shift towards a circularity of plastics in tourism. Plastic is usually single-use plastic that is used once and then discarded. But a circularity in plastic means that the plastic is recycled and used for some other purpose. That means that it probably generates money again and again. So I hope that's clear. And supporting the shift in towards circularity of plastic can reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The next two aspects, probably the most important one, climate action. One good thing that I can say came out of the COVID-19 pandemic was that it led to a 7% decrease in greenhouse gases. But according to estimates, it is expected that the recovery of tourism could again lead to an increase in greenhouse gases, and we need to stop that. How? Countries and governments must monitor and report CO2 emissions from tourism operations. By strengthening the measurements and disclosure of CO2, they can make better decisions and use more effective methods to cut down on the carbon dioxide emissions. The next one is to accelerate the decarbonization of tourism operations. Enhancing mitigation efforts to reduce emissions in the tourism sector include developing low carbon transportation options and greener infrastructure. This is the key to resilience and sustainability. Additionally, a growing number of consumers are demanding that tourism sector takes responsibility for its CO2 emissions and would like to take part in these efforts. An example of how climate action can be prevented through tourism is that of Visit Scotland, which is Scotland's national tourism organization. Sustainable practices have become a core part of Visit Scotland, including the decarbonization of the tourism sector. Visit Scotland encourages its tourists to become ecotourists by giving them tips and suggestions. Every part of their tourism plan is sustainable. It leaves a minimum carbon footprint behind. Now, the final binding element of all these aspects is governance and finance. More inclusive and smart destination management and partnerships can lead the way for sustainability to play a pivotal role in the recovery of tourism. The first one is to measure beyond economic impacts. Measuring beyond the economic performance of tourism is essential for governments. Governments need to learn to manage resource efficiency, climate change, and biodiversity, as well as to ensure that the needs of host communities, including public health, are well integrated within this. For this, generating regular and timely data to support the decision making can help, and for that, digital technologies can be employed. The next one to make all this happen is obviously finance, funds, steering recovery funds towards better tourism. Financing for the recovery of tourism should aim to balance the urgent need for job revival because many people have lost their jobs during the pandemic. So that would be the primary objective, but it also needs to take into account long term goals such as protection of ecosystems and climate change. Um, the next one is to consolidate partnerships for implementation. Successfully transitioning to a more sustainable and inclusive tourism model will largely depend upon collaboration between governments, employers, workers, organizations, as well as other stakeholders in the tourism value chain. This is crucial to ensure an effective implementation of recovery plans. So here I have put a picture which is an example of a collaborative tourism model, and I'll just let you see it for a few seconds. This model has taken into account all the stakeholders, business, media, government, communities, and finally leads to an output of tourism development sustainability, sustainable tourism. Now that we have looked at these aspects, let's look at what you can do to help them, right? You can volunteer at a local park or a community park or a garden to help plant trees, pull out weeds, or dispose of rubbish. If you're exploring a new place, instead of driving your car or take a bus, why not walk or carpool? It reduces pollution, right? Moreover, walking is something that's extremely free and it helps the environment greatly. The next one is that you should reduce the amount of fossil fuels used in your daily life. Again, it's just a repetition of what you can do. Carry your own reusable straws and shopping bags wherever you go. Stop plastic pollution, preserve biodiversity. Do not litter at any place you go. That's the main thing. Plant trees for every occasion. It could be a birthday, it could be any other occasion that you can think of, but make it a habit. Planting trees should not be something special anymore. It should become a habit because that is what is necessary for the world. So these are some suggestions that we just came up with. And at this point, we have come to the section of our quiz. So I'll just present my screen again. Instead of us reading out a travel plan for you, we thought that after talking so much about ecotourism, we all would now be equipped to decide on our own which tourism practices are sustainable, good, and which are not. So for this quiz, all you have to do is type in the chat box whether a certain action that is shown is a travel do or a travel don't. So just type do or don't in the chat box. Prince, could you let me know the majority opinion from our chat box? Prince, are you there?
Yep. Yeah, I
Okay,
can
right.
check.
So I hope our audience gets all the questions correctly. So please just let me know the majority opinion so that I can put it in the do or the don't side, right? So here goes the first one. Dispose waste only in bins earmarked for the purpose. Carry back all non-degradable litter such as empty bottles, tins, plastic bags if it can't be disposed. So what do you all think?
Friends, let's have a lot of interaction in here.
Come on, people, you want to know? Great, great. I got one do, I think.
People, come on, start pouring your answers in.
Right, do. That's awesome. So I think we have only a couple of minutes left. Let's go a few more. Buying animal products made from tusks, skin, hides as souvenirs. What do we have? Don't. Oh, that's right. That's awesome. So unfortunately, at this point, I'm going to come back to our presentation, everyone. I'm sorry, but I'll just come back to it and we'll come back to the quiz in a bit. I feel that we're short on time. So let's just quickly go through the next few slides. Yeah, we'll go back to the quiz. So I think you guys did pretty well in that 2 questions I gave. Let's see if we have a bit more time at the end. Prince.
Okay, so now the question comes, how can you become an ecotourist? So first point is that you need to, you can support the local economy. So wherever you're traveling, make a point to, support the local community, which is also known as the local economy. Instead of purchasing your souvenirs at a typical souvenir shop, buy them from a small local shop in a not so well-known neighborhood. You'll also be supporting a local family as well as putting your money into the local economy. And also, we can see that this is an essential ecotourism practice many travelers forget to implement. Next, support organizations that encourage sustainability. Whenever you decide on a two group organization or whatever it is, pick one that encourages sustainability. For example, you can take a company which supports the local community by investing in the area. Third one, never ever buy wildlife products. So while you see in the Caribbean, you have shelves of full of colorful floral decorations and tortoise shell accessories. You name it, you see a lot of coral products in destinations wherever you go. Because the demand continues to feed wildlife crime and destroys populations of elephants, marine turtles, rhinos, and tigers. You name it, a lot of animals are being, a lot of animals are being in danger due to this for souvenirs alone. Next, minimize your food consumption, which means you gotta say bye to all the Instagram pictures that you post with your food on Instagram. Because personally, I see a lot of them flooding. So this also we can see that there is the zero hunger a value also is achieved, as well as you're trying to ensure sustainability and not wasting food, and mainly recycle everywhere you go, which is really important. So try your best to recycle, and you know you can save the planet.
Since we're a bit short on time right now, Prince, could you just like quickly go through these?
Sure. So how can you support ecotourism without leaving home? Join a virtual safari. You can book for next year, make a donation, support local ecotourism projects, and leave online reviews so that other people can, just get to know what was the experience there, and they can also plan their trip ahead.
Right. So we've come to the final thoughts section. People, please travel responsibly. You need to have a love for the planet. I'm sure everybody loves the planet, right? It's our home. Travel safely, travel sustainably. Ecotourism doesn't mean cutting the fun. Ecotourism is no way less fun than regular tourism, but it comes with better benefits. It offers you a chance to help the world while you admire all the beautiful places in it. So what are we discussed today? The what you can do slides, they were all good deeds that you can do for the world. And these deeds are closely connected with an amazing initiative that I'm part of, the 100K Deeds Challenge. So let me quickly go over how you guys can participate and what the challenge is about. The 100K Deeds Challenge is an exciting initiative. It is basically a challenge where we invite youth, MUN organizations, schools to do good deeds for the world based on the SDGs and record those deeds on our website, which is 100kdeeds.org. It is just a way of making us all feel connected in the good things that we do. We can also take inspiration from others and do good stuff for the world. So this is what the 100K Deeds Challenge is about. It is run by MUN Impact and it is managed by over 150 students from around the world with over 50 student translators to make sure that all our materials are available to all. How can you participate in this challenge? This challenge requires you to do good deeds for the society. That's it, any kind of good deed. So the first step is to download the toolkit from our website, which is 100kdeeds.org. The toolkit is basically a document which has the example deeds that you can do. They are separated by SDGs and by age group so that everybody can perform good deeds. You can choose the SDG that you are passionate about and do deeds based on that. The second step is to obviously let us know about your good work. Submit your deed. There is a form on our website where you can give a description about your deed and possibly post a picture as well so that we'll come to know of your deed. The next step is to register for the challenge on our website and join our mailing list to get regular updates. Step 4 is the best part. Once you submit your deed, you can see your deed appear as a small dot on the map on our website. It gives you the sense of the huge impact that small deeds can make all over the world. So I think that's a really amazing thing and a great incentive for you to participate. So again, just download the toolkit, go to 100kdeeds.org. The links are in the chat box right now. All our social media handles are also in the chat box, so you can connect to us anyhow. Right, so these are the links. You can take them from the chat box. You can probably copy them. This is the bibliography. Right, so the Q&A section now. Wait a minute. Do you have any questions? How to select an eco-friendly spot and what makes a tourist destination eco-friendly or sustainable? Well, hi, Miss Jenny. So for that, you would have to check the tourist regulations of the area. Go for local businesses and make sure that wherever you go, you support sustainable places that use reusable bags or, they provide better modes of transport maybe. And so those are the basic things that you can do. Just look at the regulations of the area, what other people have said about the area and the pollution in that area. I think that pollution makes a big difference. Any other questions? Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, I'll move on to the thank you slide right now. Thank you so much, our audience, for being very interactive, and you guys are amazing. I'm so glad that Prince and I got a chance to create a small difference by encouraging you all to switch to ecotourism. Thank you so much to the organizers of the E3 Summit for giving us this wonderful opportunity. And thank you to the admin team for managing things so well. I know we're a bit short on time and we really didn't get to the quiz. But yeah, thank you so much. Stay safe. I think there's one question.
Really sorry to interrupt you. We can do the quiz. There is time.
Oh, there is time. That's great. That's so awesome. Thank you so much.
17 more minutes.
How can we make tourists outside our country aware of sustainable tourism? Right. So that is through social media, through websites, maybe through articles. You can let your friends in other countries know. You can do your own part for sustainable tourism, like we showed you here, how you can support sustainable tourism without leaving your house. Make donations for non-profit organizations that can really help them do the extra outreach. Just forward whatever things you know, make it public. So yeah, that's great news. We have time for the quiz. So I'll be going ahead with that now. Writing blogs could help, right? There are amazing suggestions in the chat box. So let's go ahead here. So, right. So we discussed this one and this one. Right. The next one is blare aloud radios, tape recorders, or other electronic entertainment equipment in nature resorts, wildlife sanctuaries, and parks. So is this a do or a don't? Okay, there's one person. Can we have more people, please? Come on, everyone. This is like, it'll get interesting. There are more coming up. Audience, can we have some reply, please? Right, so Jenny has told do, but I don't think so, Jenny. That's not correct. Blaring aloud radios could actually hamper wildlife in the area. Absolutely, the admin person, Mohammed, that's great. It's a don't, right? It's a don't because they could disturb wildlife and the ecosystem of the area, and that's not a good thing. Learning about your destination, culture, biodiversity before you get there. So is this a do or a don't? Right, Megan, Aiko, that's great. It's a do, of course. If you learn about your destination, you can research about the places you can visit, know the cultural history, the you can enjoy the beautiful places that are there. You can probably support local businesses, like I told before. So yeah, learning about your destination is a very essential step for ecotourism. The next one, take away flora and fauna in the form of cuttings, seeds, or roots. Is this a good practice? Okay, don't. One don't. Can we have others? Don't. Awesome, awesome. So it is a don't because without prior permission, you cannot take resources from an area. One thing is that it could hamper the ecosystem, but even then it's a wrong practice. So that goes in the don'ts box. The next one is being aware of guidelines before visiting a popular tourist spot. Is this a do or a don't? One do. Do. That's great. Right. So it is do. Right. You have to be aware of guidelines. You can protect yourself by that way, and you can also promote ecotourism in that place. Staying at a local inn rather than opting for foreign hotel chains. What about this one? Come on, people. Can we have some replies? This is a pretty simple one. Right, Elsa, Muhammad, right. It's absolutely, it's a do. I like supporting social business is the best thing you can do, right? Foreign hotel chains, I mean, local businesses need to be supported. So that one goes in the don'ts box. Exploring new, undiscovered, rare trails to observe wildlife. This is a tricky one, I'm warning you before. So think about this and decide. I got one do. Aiko says don't, question mark. So yeah, it is a don't actually. Sorry, Mohammed, it is a don't. Exploring new trails might seem like a very adventurous thing to do. It might seem quite interesting, but you should not go without a tourist guide. Moreover, you should not pressurize the locals in an area and offer them money to take you to no-go areas. You are stepping into unknown territory, which is dangerous for you, but you are also intruding into the ecosystem of the area when you go to unknown place, to rare trails. You are disrupting the wildlife in that area. So that's not a good thing from the point of view of ecotourism. So stay on the popular trail Do not go to rare trails, especially without a tourist guide. Clicking photographs and of locals and wildlife wherever you go. So is this a do or don't? Right, Elsa has messaged do but selectively. Aiko says do. I agree, but I have put a small phrase there which says wherever you go. So I would probably put it in the don'ts box. Especially without permission, you shouldn't do it. Especially on a safari, clicking photographs could again, distract the wildlife, and it would be a dangerous thing to do. But do anything with permission. If you're taking photographs of some local customs or people, make sure you get permission. I think the selectively is the best idea, right? So don't take photographs wherever you go. Take photographs with permission and in the right places. Avoiding smoking and open fires in forests. So is this a do or don't? This is pretty easy. Do, that's right. I think everybody will agree with this, right? Avoiding smoking and open fire is a very dangerous thing to do. It's not good for the environment, not good for the forest. So, yep, let's put it in the do's box. And here is our final list of do's and don'ts. You have made your own do's and don'ts list for your travel quiz. You can probably take a screenshot of this and keep it for yourself. So, right. Now I think I can show this slide. Where's this slide? Well done, audience. Like, claps for all of you. I think this is really great. With that, we have come to the end of the presentation. Still, if you have any questions about the 100K Deeds Challenge, or where to access it, how to participate, anything related to 100K Deeds or sustainable tourism, I'm here. Are there any questions? So I hope like everybody's clear about the 100K Deeds, because it's a really good thing to do what you take away from today's workshop. So, right. Since I don't see any questions, I'll move on to the last slide. Again, thank you so much, everyone. I think this was a really great opportunity. You all responded really well. I'm so happy for that. Thank you so much, everyone. We have our feedback form in the chat box. It would mean a lot to us if you could fill that and let us know about what you felt about the content of the workshop, how we spoke, the presenters, and anything you'd like us to improve. We're always looking for suggestions. And this is like my first E3 Summit presentation. So I really hope you all liked it. So yeah, please do remember to fill the feedback form. And I'd love to hear your opinions in the chat box if you want to say something. Yeah. Thank you so much, Elsa. Thank you. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mira and Prince, for your presentation. I think this session will be over now, but just to add on, there's a 24-hour help desk, and I'll just share the link after. But if you have any questions about what Monet Impact is doing, or if you have any concerns about it, you can just go and then they'll tell you all about it. Thank you for coming today and enjoy the rest of your E3 summit.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, admin team. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meera. Thank you, Prince. Great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, admin. Muhammad, Aiko. Great job, guys. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. Thank you all.